Hello, and thank you for joining me here at Take Five with Renee Five. Hey, that's me. Hers is a beautiful story that begins with pain and heartache, but there is a father-daughter bond that cannot be broken. Take a look at this truly inspiring story.
So this morning, the story of Antoine Patton, when incarceration made communication with his young daughter difficult, he used his time behind bars to create a brand new system with the goal of helping all inmates keep in better touch with their loved ones. Here's his story. Every day is a gift for Antoine Patton. After serving a 7-year prison sentence, he cherishes every moment of freedom, especially being able to speak and spend time with his family.
Back in 2008, I was arrested for illegal possession of a weapon. One of the hardest things about being in prison was the lack of communication. Being hundreds of miles away from my family meant no visits. Prison phone calls were really, really expensive.
Not having my dad around was pretty hard. I wanted to be able to see his face and talk to him every day, and I wasn't able to.
So not being able to guide her and provide for her was really tough. So I thought, hey, maybe I should be dedicating this time to really working on myself so that way I can go home and be a provider. This was in 2010 and this tech craze was just happening. I'm like, what the heck am I missing? And I just really started educating myself. I enrolled into a college program. I found me a book, took it back to the cell, and eventually I started teaching myself how to code. And I knew I was on to something. What I found out was the best companies are the ones that solve a real problem. So I looked at my own life and I was like, what's the problem that I have? Prison communication is super difficult. The family member has to send a letter through the mail. There's thousands of prisons around the nation and each one have their own set of rules. There's a picture with a peace sign, can be taken as gang mail. So you just never knew if you were really going to get your letter.
Being able to send letters and get letters from my dad was really, really important. When they would get sent back, it would be pretty sad because it's like, now he doesn't get to know what I just did today or this thing that I really wanted him to see.
I couldn't afford a letter being bounced back. That means another month or 2 months, I'm not receiving a letter. So I started thinking like, what if there was an easier way?
Antoine then enlisted the help of his cousin Greg, who worked with him to turn the idea into a nonprofit.
I sent him a business plan and was like, hey, this is what I'm thinking.
Building a business with Antoine while he was incarcerated was kind of hard, but we still made it work.
And that's where Photo Patch came from, where photos will help patch these wounds of hurt and regret and loneliness and build that communication gap that exists. Anybody who uses our service can upload photos, type a letter, and press send. Our team is going to print it all out, package it, and ship it to the prison for them, all for free. When my daughter would send me letters of pictures of hearts, those letters would patch any wounds that I had.
Even though it's through letters, we don't see each other or can't hear each other, it's still a certain bond that we're making a connection with.
I was released from prison November 18, 2014, one of the best days of my life.
Oh, it was very exciting. I just stared at him for a few minutes and he was like, look, you got my eyes, you got my nose. It was a great moment.
2 weeks after I got out of prison, I had my first job in the tech industry. I was hired as a web developer, and for me, it was confirmation that I was on the right path. JJ would see me typing on a computer all day, and she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm coding. She's like, what's coding?
I was like, this crazy stuff looks cool, I want to do it.
So I started teaching her how to code, and JJ was like, Photo Patch is really cool, Dad, but why is it that we only have a website and we don't have a mobile app? And I'm like, okay, well, that's your project. How about you go and build it? 3 months later, she was done with the mobile app, and it kind of blew my mind.
We want children to know that it's a right for them to be able to communicate with their parents. That's why I worked so hard on that app to make sure other kids had the same opportunity that I had.
Thank you for joining me here at Take Five with Renee Five. Be blessed.